Alrighty, this is recorded directly after today's All About the Limniads. So, nothing much has changed. Podcast still exists, merch still exists, descriptions still exist, and links are in the descriptions that still exist. And stuff. Stuff. That's always good. Gonna be pushing the podcast a little more in these intros because I would really like to get up to about 1,000 views per day on the podcast. That would be fecking epic. Just a quick shout out to the T5 peeps. Bob the Dragon, Cat Crab Lobster, Data Magnet, Dark Machine, Bezic, Try Again 95, Pudic Yol, Astrea the Dreamer, Casper Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Ithilia, Meridian 117, and Jordan Bucksmorm. Thank you very much. But, other than that, on to the story. Born to Kill, Chapter 4. How many Terrans are in this habitat, Danny? Harkin was sure there was more urgency in that question than she had intended. There was visible discomfort showing on Tully's faceplate. Harkin outranked the steward. Of this she was certain. Even if the Galaxian was recently in a combat zone, her empire and their league were back to the same galactic military and a moment of trial ended. She was culturally and legally obliged to answer her question. The Terrans do not wish to disclose that information. Currently, they are designated as private citizens and have decided that details like that are protected as merchant trade secrets. That answer had come fast enough that it clearly wasn't the first time that it had been used. Harkin could think about a dozen reasons that statement wouldn't hold up in a court hearing, but this poor Galaxian looked like it wanted to roll into a ball. Harkin had to at least make an effort to learn something here. Her debriefing was going to be painful if she didn't come back with something other than a full digestive tract. I understand, but that means the ship isn't registered as military. So, what is it registered as? Both Tully and her own gravity pad hold it in the middle of the massive corridor. Are you a lawyer, Legat? Harkin swore that the question sounded hopeful. No, but I am a trial procession, Legat. Law is a big part of my job. Tully looked disappointed. Well, these Terrans are. I think they all are. Even the hatchlings, especially the hatchlings. This isn't a ship. It has removable docking clamps and no means of self-propulsion. It's a cargo container, and its contents are protected by the Merchant Trade Secret subsection. Also, because they permanently attached a medical archive to the exterior of the hull, it's a private medical record, like the entire... not a ship. Tully resumed the platform's journey and seemingly telepathically answered Harkin's half-formed question before she had finished forming it in her mind. You can't ask why they bolted a medical archive to a cargo container's exterior. That's covered by the Cultural Landmark Office and must be answered by one of their officers. Between you and me, I don't think they have any Cultural Landmark officers. Stopping again, Tully motioned to the door in front of them. This isn't an elevator. It's a mechanical medical filling tube that will take you to Specialist Chen's deck. Your platform will take you to her quarters automatically. Please do not attempt to step off of your platform without considering the gravity. Good luck, Legat. Don't let the hatchling grab you. What hatchling? The door closed before she had a chance to finish. What was clearly an elevator seemed to know where it was going, but Harkin did have a chance to let her optical translator have a look at the deck labels. She had come from the docking and storage deck. There appeared to be a deployment staging deck below her, but everything else looked to be civilian. Literary storage and educational deck, recreational outdoor simulation deck, the aquatic deck, and several decks she assumed were the quarters. Before she had a chance to figure out why there was no bridge, the door opened and her platform pressed on. Evidently, Chen's quarters were near the end of this, whatever the structure was. Passing several doors, Harkin could see that they were labeled in similar markings as the engravings that she had seen days earlier. When the platform reached the door, an audible ping came from inside. A muffled noise passed through the door and Harkin's own body. Her translator had been updated during the shuttle ride, but it seemed to be thinking rather hard. Enter. Dual meaning, dual recipients, clarity error. Before Harkin could figure out what to do, the door opened and all hopes of a dignified introduction were abandoned. A Terran, approximately her own height, was charging her and screaming a war cry that let her own sensory organs see her internal structures from the outside in. The Terran would be on top of her before she could jump off the platform, even assuming that the fall didn't kill her. The Terran obviously would. By some miracle, the Terran stumbled and started to fall, making almost no attempt to protect itself and maintaining eye contact as it went down. At speeds impossible to her own species but slow enough to comprehend, another creature materialized next to the charging monster. At least 3 times the size of the homicidal demon, it caught it mid-air and lifted it into its own frame. Tones of pure bass felt more than heard, washed through her as she had to position her body to find the top of the giant that had saved her life. "Hello, Harkin, sorry about that. This is Lucas. Say hello, Lucas." The creature that had tried to kill her motioned with its upper limb. "Hello, hello, hello." Repetition error. Speech is infantile. A hatchling, a decorated legate of the Empire, had considered leaping onto the gravity deck that would have turned her insides into liquid, just to avoid the charge of a hatchling. With no idea what her color was at this moment, Harkin straightened her thorax and presented herself. "No apologies needed, Specialist Chen. I am Legate Harkin. Greetings, Hatchling Lucas." The hatchling continued its rapid waving gesture with the same limb that had threatened to rip her off a platform a moment ago. Eyes were still locked on her despite Chen's gyrating bounce. "Oh, I'm her husband, Renee. She's in the kitchen trying to figure out your jetty." Again the bass filled the room as Renee doubled his initial volume. "She's here, babe." "Just a moment. Harkin, make yourself comfortable. I'm going to give this guy a hibernation ritual before dinner." Harkin didn't have the time to answer before the giant seemed to comfortably glide away, carrying a hatchling that might have been 3 times her own weight. It was deeply unsettling how its head seemed to have locked onto her location without effort, adjusting to the carrier's rapid movements. Using a lull in activity, Harkin absorbed the implications of what had just happened. There were at least 2 drone males in this dwelling. Specialist Chen must have been some sort of broodmother. She had been given access to the broodmother's private chamber. This had not happened since she was an egg. The hatchling's murder charge must have been instinctive. Who knew how many other hatchlings might have been in the walls of this chamber? It was impressive that the adult drone had the sentient control to not only save her life and exchange greetings, but resist the instinct to kill her where she stood. This entire structure was a hive. They had brought a hive into orbit and transported it to a conflict zone. The hatchling showed her that they truly were birthed to end life, but it seemed that they grew into something more restrained. End of chapter. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed. There are links down below, both to support this channel and for the author of this fiction. Anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic one, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.